What's up guys, we just got our hands on Season 2 of Delta Force, and so far, so good. As we all know, Season 2 StarFall just released with 3 new guns, 2 new maps, 2 new gadgets, 1 new operator, and a plethora of other new features and fixes such as dolphin diving and a new battle pass. Now, in my full review of the open beta, I rated Delta Force as a quote-unquote very good game. In my eyes, it brings together a lot of mechanics from other properties and ties them into something more impressive than just the sum of their parts, while other franchises as of late, like Battlefield, have been doing the opposite where they run fresh ideas into the ground while also cutting corners. But I'm happy to report that after my first day with Season 2, Delta Force is managing to capitalize on its strengths while also polishing up a few of its rough edges. With Season 2, I'm also excited to say that the game looks and feels better than ever, as the devs have gone out of their way to refresh some features while also pushing forward with that new content. But like always, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's take a few minutes to talk first impressions of Season 2. Right off the bat, you can tell Season 2 isn't just new content bolted onto the base experience, yet instead a checkpoint where the devs have gone back and blessed us with upgrades like an improved operations menu and updates to features like squad revives that seem to connect and animate a lot better now. Overall, the game just feels a little tighter, with a little less clutter, and seemingly better lighting and graphics across a lot of the assets and characters in the main menus. Perhaps what I'm feeling is just the result of some better optimization, but either way, the game looks and feels a little better across the board, especially during animated cutscenes like when you enter an operation. There seems to be less glitching, better performance, and a fresh coat of paint across all the loading screens, menus, and player touchpoints with cleaned up animations. Now, while the game itself seems to be tightened up, I have been experiencing some major server hitching where I'll randomly get frozen during a warfare match, but I'm hoping that's just a day one issue caused by server stress, but tell me in the comments below if that's something that's happening to you as well. However, while the servers may be having some issues, the game itself is still running great for me, often in the 120 to 144 FPS range at 4K Ultra settings, with ray tracing turned off while on a Ryzen 9 4090 machine. With Season 2, the game seems rather healthy and stable, something a lot of AAA games seemingly struggle with these days, so at this point I'd love to see them continue going all in with new content, like weapons and updates like finally adding controller support, something they are getting berated for in the comments on Twitter. And while Season 1 was a solid place to begin, this new update reassures players that Delta Force is here to stay, not just by adding content, but also continually improving and tweaking the experience. Something I and the rest of the community are happy to see, as Season 2 has recaptured the game's highest peak player count at just under 120,000 Day 1 players. Now, as far as the new content, I've only spent a few hours with the season, but I can definitely report that Knife's Edge is right up my alley. Instead of an Operation Metro type experience, it's much more of an urban area with lots of elevation, corners, and flanks. While the map can certainly be a tough fight, there's a ton of ways to problem solve and work against your enemy, however, with the occasional drawback that all those corners mean a lot of places for campers to hide. Alongside Knife's Edge, Trainwreck is another solid addition that features a more traditional, all-out war experience with vehicles, open landscapes, and large buildings. Again, a fun experience, if anything, a little more predictable. But both maps are welcome arrivals, as they're a much-needed addition to the game's lacking map selection. And while Team Jade seems determined to shore up their map selection, they're also doubling down with 3 new weapons and 2 new gadgets as well. Each of these new guns can be unlocked via in-game challenges, whether it's getting 30 marksman rifle kills for the new SR9 rifle, or completing a series of achievements for the QCQ-171 SMG. Meanwhile, for the new LMG, I'm currently seeing that the item is just locked, with no way to get it, most likely awaiting a future update, but tell me in the comments below if I'm just missing something. But as for the 2 new grenade launcher gadgets, they seem to have simply been added to their respective classes without any need for the player to unlock them. Now, as for the last big ticket item, the game's latest operator has arrived, and he's bringing some great utility to the Warfare game modes. Seneva's ability to throw down razor wire appears to already be going meta, with how players use the traps around corners and down hallways to slow players' advances during games like Attack and Defend. So, while I'm mostly maining Luna in Warfare, I know to look out for my fellow Seneva brothers in order to create nasty wire traps where enemies are slowed by him and then scanned by my bow. And while this sort of operator synergy is great to see in general, it's very apparent on Knife's Edge, which really brings the whole package together in its tight hallways. Though even outside of Warfare, Seneva does seem to present quite a fun niche, even if it doesn't end up being incredibly meta.
Got one. Yeah, go left. Nice. He moved so much faster than I thought he was going to. That was way more effective than I thought.
Yeah, I know, that's wild, dude.
But while we can debate the nuance of this content over the course of the season, the real big takeaway is that Season 2 StarFall feels like a true step forward. Whether it's those updated animations, a mix-up in the meta, or new additions to operations like the supply drops falling from the sky, the game feels better today than it did yesterday. But guys, it's only been a few hours so far. Drop your thoughts below and tell me what you want to see before the game gets its full release. In all honesty, aside from the Black Hawk Down campaign, the game feels pretty complete for a vanilla free-to-play release, but drop your comments below. For all things Battlefield and Delta Force, stay tuned and subscribe, and as always, thank you guys for watching.